See the latest of what is happening in Paris, how New York surgeons provided the most extensive transplant in history, and why the Hunger Games decided not to have a red carpet for the premiere in Los Angeles this Friday.
Also, see how men's Titan soccer team is doing and why it might not be the best idea to use your cell phone before you go to sleep. That and more coming up on right now on OC News. Welcome and thanks for joining us at OC News. I'm Donald Edmonds.
And I'm Jared Brass. OC News is brought to you by the broadcast journalism students at Cal State Fullerton. Here at OC News, our thoughts and prayers are with everyone affected in the recent tragedy in Paris. Any students on campus who would like to pay their respects can sign their names on the Hugs for France memorial located in front of the bookstore.
In light of the tragic events in Paris, we will be going straight to Fullerton national news to see what's happening.
All of our hearts and prayers go out to the victims of the Paris attacks and their families and friends. As we mourn over this horrific event, communities all over the world are showing their grief and support of the lives of the people that have been lost. Let's go to George Howell from CNN for a look at who these victims were.
They were students and teachers, concert goers and football fans. Hundreds of people from all walks of life injured, and tragically, more than 100 killed. There are still families waiting for word as to whether their loved ones will be coming home. Others, though, already know theirs won't. Here are some of the victims. From France, Valentin Ribet, one of the first victims to be named, a Parisian lawyer and graduate of the London School of Economics, described as a talented lawyer and extremely well-liked. Matou Roche, an employee of the news agency France 24, a young father and lover of rock music, killed at the Bataclan. From the United States, Cal State Long Beach student Noemi Gonzalez. Her mother says she hopes she's remembered. She was in Paris as a foreign exchange student. Nick Alexander from Britain. He was working with the Eagles of Death metal band when the attack happened. An Italian citizen, Valeria Solassin, was also killed at the Bataclan, according to Italy's foreign minister. The 28-year-old Venice native was studying in Paris. From Chile, Louis-Philippe Zoche-Val, a musician who had lived in Paris for 8 years, and Patricia San Martin Nunez and her daughter, Elsa Veronique Del Plas. They were niece and grandniece, respectively, of the Chilean ambassador to Mexico, Ricardo Nunez. There are so many more victims from the Paris attacks. The French president made mention of the world's loss.
The assassins wanted to kill young people in all its diversity. The youngest was not even 30, called Noélie, Valentin, and there were many others. What was their sole crime? That they were alive.
Hundreds of innocent lives cut short by chaos. George Howell, CNN, Atlanta.
It is so hard to see these innocent lives lost, especially those who are so young. One of the young victims was a student at our sister school, Cal State Long Beach, and they held a memorial for her. Noemi Gonzalez was 23 years old and was studying design. She was studying at Straight College of Design in Sèvres, France. After working hard to save money for this trip, she was killed at one of the restaurants struck by terrorists Friday night. She was with her friends from Cal State Long Beach who were also studying in France. After the gunfire, a friend saw Gonzalez being carried away on a stretcher. The Paris attacks have also placed an impact and a halt on President Obama's plans to resettle 10,000 Syrian refugees over the next year. Many states in the U.S. were not opposed to the refugee plan, but after the attacks that took place, things have changed and everyone is afraid of being at risk. There was news that one of the attackers was pretending to be a Syrian refugee, and that is how he made his way into Europe. However, President Obama shot back at those who were criticizing his resettlement plan. Even as we accept more refugees, including Syrians, we do so only after subjecting them to rigorous screenings and security checks. We also have to remember that many of these refugees are the victims of terrorism themselves. That's what they were fleeing. Slamming the door in their faces would be a betrayal of our values, Obama said. That's all for your updates on the Paris attacks. Remember to keep those affected in your prayers. And to end the segment, I would like to go to students on campus paying tribute at the Hugs for France Memorial. Here's Joel at the scene.
Thanks, guys. I'm here standing in front of the Titan Student Bookstore, where a fellow Cal State Fullerton student and a couple of his friends have went ahead and started a movement, sort of a memorial, a remembrance for all the victims and their families of the tragic suicide bombings that took place over this past weekend in Paris, France. They have a board out here painted with the colors of the French flag, and are asking any students to go ahead and write what they would like, any wishes, any prayers that might help honor the memory of those that we lost in France.
So the purpose of this experiment was actually to send a message to France. I wanted to send them a message of support, love, that they, you know, they were with us in 9/11, so we're with them now. But as I was doing this, I saw that it wasn't just a message to France, but also a message to Americans and to everybody in the world, you know, that united we look best. As I was doing this, I got some amazing reactions. I got sentimental reactions, people actually in tears. I got some people telling me their story, how they had relatives, friends out in Paris who were victims of the attack, and how they were still trying to get a hold of some people who were there, trying to email them, seeing if they were safe. I got some people from other cities in France telling me thank you for it.
It's such a tragedy that a country so close to our great nation, they gave us the symbol of America, they gave us the Statue of Liberty, and someone so close to us and such an ally of us would go through such a terrible and troubling time, and they would experience what we have before. We know how hard it is. We experienced 9/11. We know how much of a loss and tragedy it is when our country is attacked by these terrorists, and it's terrible, and I can't imagine their pain and feelings right now. It's absolutely terrible, and I hope all the people and all the citizens of France and those here in America who have relatives or are from France can help heal and come over this terrible tragedy and are able to push onwards and unite as a nation and as a country.
It's scary to know that stuff like that is happening around the world. And even though we weren't there, it's just impacted here in the OC because one of the students that was killed that day was from Long Beach. So it's like, we think it's not going to happen to us, but I mean, you never know.
There's a lot of people that came up and signed this poster right here saying friends, family. We actually had one student come up to us and say one of their friends was over in Paris and actually died from the casualty. And it's just a lot of support. We really didn't expect this, you know, but at the same time, we wanted to show people this isn't just for publicity. This is for something that truly matters, not just today or tomorrow, but it's a casualty that's gonna influence people to realize stuff goes on, and we need to show support for people who are there and who are not there.
This is definitely a nice memorial for all those that lost their lives and the families that they leave behind way too early. For OC News, I'm Joel Valdez.
Thanks, Joel. It really is great to see everyone's support for France. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Falak. Our hearts really go out to everybody that's really affected by that tragedy in France. However, on a happier note, a Brea Bridal Store reminds us all that there is still good in the world. In celebration of Veterans Day last week, this bridal store decided to offer free gowns to veterans. Here's Sarah with more on the story.
The perfect dress. It takes time, energy, and of course, money. And for brides to be serving in the military, the stress of planning a wedding can be enormous.
With serving in the military, it's hard for us to plan anything. Plan anything in advance, and contrary to popular belief, it doesn't pay all that well. So it's hard with the demands of our job to find a time to actually save and to plan something ahead of time.
A wedding dress company set out to alleviate some of that stress by giving away free wedding gowns to military brides through an event called Operation Gown Giveaway.
Whether they're in service themselves, whether it's their fiancé, or whether they no longer in the military, or if they're a vet, each bride that comes in, we're going to offer her a free bridal gown, thank them for their service, and maybe make the planning of their wedding just a little bit easier and a little bit less costly.
The average price of the gowns given away was just over $1,000, but for these brides, they were free. Military brides spent their Veterans Day searching for their free dream dress at Alfred Angelo in Brea. Cassie Wells, an aviation structural mechanic for the Navy, was given a few hours to look for her dream dress before she had to go back to base. She tried on multiple dresses in search of the perfect gown with her mom and aunt by her side. Cassie walked out of the dressing room in her gown one last time, and everyone knew this was the dress.
Are you saying yes to the dress?
Even though Cassie has to go back to work, this is one thing she can check off her list before her big day in September. I'm Sarah Fenton in Brea reporting for OC News.
What a wonderful way to pay tribute to everyone that served.
Coming up, NYU surgeons make history. Charlie Sheen reveals some big news.
Plus, this week's weather. I know and I am praying that California gets some sunshine soon.
It's what powers our journey to reach unimaginable heights. It fosters a sense of yearning to create, explore, and soar. It strengthens our will to climb to the top. It's the bedrock of our conviction that nothing's impossible. It transforms us and sets us free to thrive and build lives of purpose. Titan Pride is at the heart of who we are.
With Thanksgiving just a week away, it's finally beginning to feel like fall. Today is windy and cold. Let's go to Sunem Rivas so she can tell us how the rest of the week is going to be.
Although it definitely feels like fall today, it's cold out and windy. So grab a cup of coffee and let's take a look at our current temperature. So it's 63 degrees outside today and chilly, although it may feel a little bit colder due to the amount of wind that we are experiencing. We've been having winds of 10 to 20 miles per hour, although currently it is 14 miles per hour. But the National Weather Service has issued a wind advisory for Orange County from 7 tonight until 1 for winds. We could be looking at winds up to 30 miles per hour with gusts up to 45 miles per hour. So be careful out there, especially if you commute, as you may be driving and it may be a little bit more difficult. You may see some tree branches on the road and so on. It will be even colder tonight at 44 degrees. So perfect weather to stay home bundled up under the covers. Humidity is 16%, which is why it's a little dry. And the sun rose at 6:25 and set at 4:44. So let's take a look at our 5-day forecast. It doesn't look like today's weathers are going to stick around. Today's temperatures are going to stick around for too long. It's currently 66 degrees. Tomorrow will be 74, so a little bit warmer. And then it starts to warm up even more as the week progresses. 80 degrees on Wednesday and 87 degrees on Thursday, 85 on Friday, and so on. Although nights are still going to look between 40s and 50s. Now let's take a look at our national map. On our west coast, it looks like we're having a cold front coming in, I'm sorry, and we're looking at temperatures around the 40s, 30s in some areas, but this cold front is moving through with the northeast winds. So on the other side, we're looking at temperatures that are very similar to us around New York and that part of the country, but down here toward Texas, we see that there's kind of a warm front coming in. It's very humid, so they're getting a lot of rain, but still warmer temperatures than we are. And that's all for today. Stay warm, and we'll see you again next week.
Well, it appears that a major Hollywood actor is set to disclose some very personal information. Here's Adrian with that story and more in today's Entertainment Report.
Thank you, Donald. Well, he's made some outrageous claims in the past, ranging from having Adonis DNA to tiger blood flowing through his veins. But tomorrow morning on NBC's Today Show, embattled actor Charlie Sheen will sit down with Matt Lauer to make what he calls a revealing personal announcement. The network has confirmed Sheen's appearance, but has not hinted at what his personal announcement will entail. However, a source close to the former 2.5 Men star has told People magazine that he plans on disclosing that he is in fact HIV positive. The 50-year-old actor has had a tumultuous career. He was fired in 2011 by CBS from his starring role in 2.5 Men after a public feud with the show's creator Chuck Lorre, and has remained largely out of the spotlight since FX decided not to renew his most recent show, Anger Management, late last year. Sheen has a long history of struggling with substance abuse and has admitted to soliciting prostitutes in the past. In other news, the Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2 premiere set for tonight in Los Angeles has been modified in honor of the victims of the Paris terrorist attacks. The premiere of the movie will still go on, but the stars of the film will not conduct interviews prior to the screening. In a statement released by Lionsgate, the production company behind the film, said, "Out of respect for the very recent events in Paris, we have decided to modify our red carpet and we will not conduct interviews at Monday's Mockingjay 2 premiere. We will proceed with the rest of the event as planned in honor of the incredible fans who have always supported our films with such passion." The cancellation of the red carpet event for one of the biggest films of the year is the latest in tributes to the tragedy that occurred Friday when more than 120 people lost their lives. Bands like U2, Coldplay, and the Foo Fighters have all recently canceled shows in and around Paris in light of the attacks. And finally, Harry Potter gets immortalized on Hollywood Boulevard, a country singer star gets his hands dirty, and James Bond dukes it out with Charlie Brown at the box office for the second week in a row. CNN's David Daniel gives us the details in today's Hollywood Minute.
Harry Potter actor Daniel Radcliffe, the latest Hollywood star to get his own Hollywood star on the Walk of Fame. Director Chris Columbus spoke about the young talent before making his big screen debut.
And I saw a BBC, I guess it was a miniseries or a film, with the young Daniel Radcliffe, David Copperfield, and I was completely mesmerized by your screen presence, by how much he brought to the screen.
Country music star turned hero? Blake Shelton helped rescue 4 guys after getting stuck in a mudslide for nearly 2 hours in Oklahoma. One of the guys tweeted this picture out, thanking Blake for the helping hand. And 007 holding on to #1 at the box office. Spectre earning an estimated $35.4 million in its second weekend in the U.S. Coming in at #2 again this weekend, the Peanuts movie, bringing in an estimated $24.4 million. And rounding out the top 3 is Love the Coopers, banking an estimated $8.4 million. For Hollywood Minute, I'm David Daniel.
That's going to wrap things up today in entertainment. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Adrian. New York University completes a successful facial reconstruction surgery for a veteran firefighter. And a new healthy study some health hazards with cell phones use. Here's Alex Gomez with your health news.
University surgeons performed the most extensive facial transplant in history today. The successful surgery was done for a Mississippi firefighter volunteer, Patrick Hartson, who suffered from severe third-degree burns after responding to a mobile home fire back in 2001. The 41-year-old had already undergone 70 reconstructive surgeries since the accident, which left him with vision and breathing impairments. The surgical team at NYU, led by a reconstructive surgeon, Dr. Eduardo Rodriguez, took 26 hours to complete the operation. Hardison has exceeded all recovery expectations but faces a long road to recovery, according to Dr. Rodriguez. In other news, the nonprofit organization, the Challenge Athletes Foundation, helped various people across the nation learn to walk and run again with prosthetic legs. The CNN reporter Pam Cross has the story.
They are learning to run again. This clinic, presented by the Challenged Athletes Foundation, is one of 8 held across the nation to help people with physical challenges learn to run and walk. There were budding athletes at the Boston Athletic Club of all descriptions and certainly with all types of energy. Marathon survivors were on hand, like Heather Abbott. Her foundation, in collaboration with 2 other groups, gave 8-year-old Corey Tickle of Somerset a custom Oser running foot that she's learning to use.
Oh my gosh, I just want to say thank you so much.
23-year-old Famita Ayambeku lost her leg at age 12 in an auto accident. She received a prosthetic foot worth thousands of dollars and began exercising right away.
I can be more active. I work out, but I don't do a lot of cardio because when I use my other leg, I get a lot of blisters and stuff. I'm really out there. I'm actually really excited.
The organization is led by Heather Abbott, who lost her leg in the Boston Marathon bombing back in 2013 attack. The organization's mission is to help provide customized prosthetics to those who suffered limb loss through traumatic circumstances. And using cell phones before bed night might not be such a good idea. A new study published in Frontiers in Public Health analyzed light-emitted devices and concluded that manufacturers of cell phones and tablet devices continue to create gadgets that emit high levels of light that led to disrupted sleeping patterns. One of the researchers, Dr. Paul Gringos from Evelina Children's Hospital in London, said that these devices prevent people from falling asleep by an extra hour. He stresses for manufacturers to include a sleep mode app that can automatically reduce the blue and green light emissions to help improve sleeping irregularities for children and adults. That's all for your health news today. Back to you guys.
Man, that's why I can't get to sleep. Well, coming up, the Ducks shake up their roster, and the Lakers, they finally deliver. More on sports after this break.
I got no pulse. We're losing him.
Charging. He's in VFib.
Shock him. Drives it around all the time. He just had a few drinks. This can't be happening.
Are we clear?
Clear. We just buzzed. Just buzzed. You didn't tell us that, sir. You're right. This isn't happening. He'll be fine.
Yeah, I feel good.
Really? No, not really.
Buzz driving.
Clear.
Maybe we should stop acting like it's no big deal.
Shock him.
So, April.
Yeah?
You know your charger's still using energy when it's plugged into the wall, right?
Yeah, but that's not my charger. I don't even have a cell phone.
Millions of kids are using their energy wisely. What's your excuse?
The Titan men's soccer team looked to follow the women's lead by winning the Big West soccer tournament. The Titans took on the Gauchos with the NCAA men's tournament berth on the line. It was scoreless until the 51st minute when Julian Okai's left-footed shot ricocheted off the goalpost to the feet of Mitchell Bell, who didn't miss a wide-open net that would be the deciding goal as the Titans win 1-0. The Titans will host Santa Clara on Thursday at Titan Stadium in the first round of the men's NCAA soccer tournament. Good luck, Titans. We are all rooting for you. The women's soccer team played USC in the first round of the women's NCAA soccer tournament. The Trojans beat the Titans 4-3 in a shootout. Not the way the Titans wanted to end the season, but they had a great year overall, only losing 3 games. With only 2 seniors on the roster, everybody else will be back to continue the success Coach Damian Brown has built for the women's soccer team. Now for the NBA. The Los Angeles Lakers were looking for their second win of the season last night and first win at home on the young season. Kobe Bryant and the Lakers were taking on Andre Drummond, who was averaging an astounding 19 points per game and 19 rebounds per game, and the Detroit Pistons. Kobe Bryant takes the ball up the court and dishes off a soft one to Jordan Clarkson for the 3 to give the Lakers an early lead. Roy Hibbert with the miss, Drummond there with another rebound, dishes it off to Reggie Jackson, who takes it up the court for an uncontested layup and gives them a 7-6 Laker lead. Lou Williams with a bounce pass to a monster dunk by Larry Nance. Nick Young brings the ball up and shoots a 3 knocks it down to give the Lakers a 36-27 lead. Contavious Caldwell-Pope with a and 1. Kobe with an errant pass that gets picked off, and Pope brings it up for the alley-oop to Andre Drummond, and it's 47-42. Kobe brings the ball up to the middle of the court with a little floater and sinks it for a 75-72 Laker lead. Hibbert now with the ball passes to Kobe for the 3 and drains it to give the Lakers an 85-74 lead. And you will see here Kobe slapping hands with teammates and then a couple of fans who are pretty excited about the game. So the Lakers win 97-85 over the Pistons. The Lakers play a second game of back-to-backs tonight against the Phoenix Suns, but Kobe Bryant won't be playing as he played 36 minutes last night and told reporters he was barely able to stand while answering questions. The Anaheim Ducks have not been playing up to their as the experts and their fan standards. The team decided to shake up their roster and called up Nick Ritchie, their first-round pick of the 2014 draft. Ritchie had 9 goals and 12 points with the San Diego Gulls before being called up, and will be making his NHL debut tonight against the Carolina Hurricanes. Baseball season might be over, but both the Dodgers and the Angels are making headlines. The Los Angeles Dodgers are looking for a new manager. The Dodgers came up with a list of 4 managers who they think can handle the job. One was former Angel Darren Erstad, but he dropped out. So the current list is one is former manager of the San Diego Padres, Bud Black, and the other 2 are former Dodgers, Dave Roberts and Gabe Kapler. For the Angels, they made a significant trade to shore up their middle infield depth for the next 5 years. They traded for Andrelton Simmons, who is the best shortstop in all of baseball from the Atlanta Braves. The Braves acquired longtime Angel shortstop Eric Ibar and their 2 highest-ranked prospects, pitchers Sean Newcomb and Chris Ellis. Now, zebras on the run in Philadelphia? A sentence I never thought I'd say. It was definitely a strange sight on the streets of the city of brotherly love. Sunday, as Rachel Solomon reports, animals were turning heads as they raced through the city.
It was a daring escape, and for a brief time Sunday afternoon, 2 cunning circus zebras almost got away with it.
Everybody was running full speed.
The animals had broken out of the Universal Circus near the Mann Center for Performing Arts. This one was found some 2.5 miles away on Riders Ferry Road.
It was by Lauren Taylor. They came around and shot right past. I'm like, it went shot across. I'm like, is that a zebra?
And a spokesman for the circus says that those animals were not hurt during their escape. Meantime, animal activists who've been out here the entire time the circus has been in Philadelphia say the zebras could have easily hurt themselves and they could have caused serious traffic accidents.
They saw a chance to escape, took a run for it, and then ended up in traffic and people probably honking at them and almost causing accidents if they didn't cause accidents. So overall, it's a horrible, horrible experience.
Sunday's incident was the second major event in Philadelphia for the Universal Circus. Late last month, police said a trapeze artist fell some 30 feet during a performance. He is now said to be out of the hospital and recovering. In a statement, the circus said it is investigating Sunday's escape.
I saw a zebra and I'm like, all right, something weird happened.
Sunday was the final night for the circus in Philadelphia. The show and the zebras will move on now to their next location. But stories of their grand, though short-lived escape remain behind.
Now, you know I got to ask because of your sweater. Are you a fan of zebras?
Yes, I could say I'm a fan of zebras now, right?
Well, if you walk outside and see a zebra, it won't be the first time.
Well, that's going to do it for us at OC News. Join us on social media and tell us what kind of important stories you are seeing. The other items we'd like to see covered on OC News. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, all under the OC News CSUF handle.
We would love to hear your thoughts. We will see you again next week.
Good night.